Trent Homegrown was an initiative that we thought about where the idea was to actually get best fresh talents from different campuses. When we talk about fashion campus, it's basically the NIFTs across the location. And we decided that we wanted to get these fresh talent into the organization and provide a career for them where they are able to actually grow with us and they also become our influx into our talent pool. Of course, dependent on their performance and how well they settle down in the organization. Today, we are at the second year. We are not only restricting it to the product piece now. So while you have product trainees coming from the NIFTs and the design schools, we've also extended it to other functions like, say, for example, HR, finance, legal, property, projects. So we go to different colleges, we get the best from those colleges. And the idea is we want to extend this entire pool to different functions because I think every function, every department can promise a career to all these, trainees. We felt that the transition from a campus to a corporate life takes some time. Anybody coming from a campus has their own learning curve. And the moment you actually bring them from campus and expect them to deliver into a full-blown role, you're really putting that person with a lot of pressure, a lot of anxiety. So the idea was, as an organization, we wanted to invest the initial period of 1 year or 9 months. It's to just come, understand how the organization works, because these are best talents, they're the best minds. They have a great understanding of the conceptual, the concepts behind fashion. But what really determines the success of anybody is also to understand how every organization works. And we wanted to actually, by design, provide that time period where they go across, they do a lot of rotational stints across the different value chain of the organization. And that just helps them understand how Trent does like a buying or a sourcing or a merchandising or quality, technology, and also how stores function because, stores is the ultimate place where we actually have our customers. There's no point making a product if you don't know who the customers is and how do the customers react to your product. So the idea was in that 1 year, they go through these rotational stints. And after that, when they are placed into a final role, they are able to deliver from day one. We wanted to establish the initial connect with the organization. And it's not only the initial connect with Trent, but also a connect with the fact that they've joined a larger family, which is the Tata Group. So we have a 15-day program. We have leaders from different functions from the organization coming and talking to these, trainees, giving them a sense of what Trent is, what is Tata Group, what are the different businesses in Tata Group. So the way the induction or the onboarding is designed, we have Tata Day, Trent Day, Westside Day, Zudio Day. So we cover all the formats and it's like a mix of classroom conversations plus visit to the stores. We also, by nature of the program, have also designed in a lot of softer nuances into the onboarding process. So, for example, they do go through a session on mental wellness because getting into a corporate life comes with its own set of challenges. I think if I look back, if somebody told me how important it is to manage your mental health while you're doing well in a corporate, it would have really helped. So they have session on mental wellness. They have session on how they can do what we term it as a financial wellness. So how can you plan your finances better and from the very beginning. We also do a behavioral program for 2 days, which talks about the transition from campus to corporate. So they are spoken to how life was for them at the campus and how life is going to be at the corporate. We also prepare them for the 1-year stint that they have. And the one message that we keep on driving is the only thing that will make them exploit this entire journey well is if they have a curious mind. Then they all get, allotted into different stints. So they do a 3-month stint in buying, they do a 3-month stint in merchandising, they do a 3-month stint in sourcing, then quality technology, and also 3 months mandatory stint at the stores. When we started the program, we said that the store stint would be in only one format. You either spend 3 months in Westside or you spend 3 months in Zudio or any other format. But it was a feedback from the trainees that why don't we get both the exposures? Both the brands are very different. So what we've decided, the 3 months of store stint, we've broken down into 45 days. You go work in a Westside store, you go work in a Zudio store, see the world, both the worlds, understand both the customers, which are very different. So that was one learning. The other learning which we had was merchandising, which is slightly to do with analytics, numbers. People felt that just 2 months, into that stint is a little too much of a stress for these guys. They need a little bit more time. So from this year onwards, we said, okay, let merchandising also be for 3 months because that's the time that they will take to get a sense of what's happening across. And the third learning, which I also touched upon, is we learned that it was just not product vertical. We wanted to extend this to different departments also. So what started off in the product stream is also now what we are trying to do in a structured manner for the different functions of the organization. As a coach, you are supposed to work with an assumption or the underlying principle that everybody have resources within them to find solutions to their own problems. A coach is just supposed to ask pertinent questions that enables that individual to tap into those resources by himself or herself. So one of the things which really, stuck by me during this entire journey was a coach is just an empty flute, and you enable the coachee to play the notes and prepare music. That's one of the biggest learning that I had. Coming back to how do I relate it or how do I apply it to the organization or while working with the Trent Homegrown, it's necessary to hear the trainees. They will come with a lot of concerns. And as somebody considering that I have a lot of experience, let me just give them a piece of advice or let me just give them the solution. I really had to hold back. And that really helped. That it takes a lot of work because none of us are trained to be patient listeners and not react. But I think when I'm talking to these trainees, when I'm listening to them, I try to just move away from providing solutions, but just have a conversation where they come up with their solutions. The generation that we're dealing with is very different from us. And a lot of times what I've learned is there's a lot of clarity. They are very clear what they want out of life. So they're not going to be somebody who's just going to go by like, okay, this is what we've thought for you. You have to be very collaborative with the thought process. One of the things that I've learned from them, how do we make the entire piece a lot more experiential? Rather than just having people coming and talking to them, they would want more experiences in terms of understanding. They also want to take up different projects. While we have stints of buying, sourcing, merchandising, technology, quality, many of them come and say that, oh, I love the work that visual merchandising is doing. There's a lot of work that's happening in digital marketing. So they're very clear. They want to really, really try their hands into each and everything. And I think that's a learning for us, that you can just provide a construct, but we need to be very flexible in our ways of offering to these trainees. They also have a good sense of managing a work-life balance. Like, they really want to work well, but at the same time, they need their breaks to go for a trek or to go backpacking. So I think every day is a learning with these kids.